In this video, I'll show you how to convert your Shopify products from standard variant options to variants linked to meta-objects in bulk. Instead of plain text option values, you get structured data behind every option. This can support things like color swatches on your product page, and because the option values point at a single source of truth, you can update them in one place instead of product by product. Shopify lets you do this conversion one product at a time in the admin. Altera lets you do it for hundreds or thousands of products at once from a spreadsheet, and it preserves your existing variant IDs so no other variant data is lost. Let's get started. Here we are on our test store. The first thing we need to do is export this product data to a spreadsheet. To do this, we could open up the Altera app, but since we're just going to do a single product today, we can open up the product. Here we see that we have the plain variants. Then we go up to More Actions and click on Export with Altera. This will preload an export configured for just that product. Now we want to select the minimal amount of fields that we need. We don't want to bring in extra fields. This just makes the imports faster and ensures that we don't accidentally modify other data that we don't want to. So for the general fields, we'll bring in the ID, handle, and title just so we can keep reference of it. And then for the inventory and variant fields, what we'll need is the variant ID, and then we'll need the option 1 value, name, and option 1 link to, and this controls the Metaobject that's being linked to, as well as the option 2 values, and we could do the option 3 as well just to be safe. So once we have these, we'll click on Save. Everything else here looks good. We want the Excel format. We'll go ahead and start that. This should export in just a second, and when we're done we can download the file and we'll open it up here. Now we see the columns that we selected, and here we have the product ID, handle, title, along with the variant ID, option name, option value. The key column in this file is column G, the option 1 link to. And if we set something here, the option value will no longer be text, but instead be a reference to a meta object that's linked through the meta field. What we want to put here in our situation is the value product.metafields.shopify.colorpattern. So how do you get this value? There's two ways. The easiest way is to create a sample product in your store that's linked, export it, and see what the value is here. However, you can also get this value in the Shopify admin. To do that, we'll just tab over to the admin. We go to Settings, Metafields, Product Metafields, and here we want to go to Assign to Categories, and then we choose the category metafield that we want. In this case, we see Shopify.colorpattern. So then when we go back to Excel, we have to say product.metafields.Shopify color pattern. Once we have this, everything else looks good. We have the option 2 values, which for this example we'll leave unlinked. And now we can go ahead and save this. We'll just save this as a new file. So we'll say link variants and save that. Now we pop back to Altera. We'll open up the app here and we'll go to upload file. From here we'll choose our new file. Give that a second. The app will analyze the file, just make sure that everything looks good. And once it is, we can start the import. One nice thing about Altera is you can see some of the results as soon as they're ready. So if this were a larger export, you could still see one of your results here and click on it just to get an idea that everything is running smoothly. And now we see that the variants are converted. They now are not just plain variants, but they're linked to color meta objects. And we can click on these here and edit them if we need to, and this is the actual meta object that's referenced. Before closing, there's a few important points to keep in mind. The first is that if you want to link your variants to meta objects that are standard category meta objects, so things like color, size, etc., those require the product to be in the correct category. For example, if this product was in a category that did not have color category attributes, say a service like specialized home services, you could not link the variants to the color meta objects because the color meta objects can only be assigned to certain categories like jackets or t-shirts. The second thing I wanted to cover has to do with how the app is able to determine that black links to the color black as a meta object entry. When this gets imported, the option 1 value will get converted to a handle, which will link to the meta object entry in the Shopify admin. So if we go over to content, meta objects, standard product attributes, we'll see color here. And here we have the different colors, including black, and we can see that the handle is over here. So what if we had, instead of black, before our option was something like stealth black? In this case, if this was the original value, we would have to go here and copy the handle and paste that in for these values so that the app would know the correct value to link it with on the back end. The last thing to mention is that you are not restricted to using Shopify's objects or metafields for this. If you have your own meta objects, you can also use those for linking the variants. To do that, you would just replace this with the namespace of a metafield definition, which links to a list of your meta objects. That's it. That's how you can quickly use Altera to convert your products from regular options to having variants linked with meta objects. You can find Altera on the Shopify App Store, and if you have any questions, please reach out. Thanks for watching.